I just recommend to the witnesses, you can pull that box as close to you as needed. It does move, and if you speak into the microphone, it helps our stenographer and the folks watching it on TV. Thanks.
Chairman Maloney, Ranking Member Gibbs, and members of the Subcommittee on Coast Guard and Maritime Transportation. My name is Jonathan Nass, and I am the Chief Executive Officer of the Maine Port Authority. Thank you for inviting me to speak today on the exciting topic of short sea shipping. The Maine Port Authority is a quasi-governmental entity tasked with improving Maine's economy by developing and promoting infrastructure that moves freight domestically and internationally. Maine has a long history of living from and by the sea. If you drive Route 1 along Maine's coast, you will encounter mansions sea captains built over several hundred years in virtually every town you cross through. These once grand houses are monuments of the prosperity once enjoyed from a thriving coastal freight transportation network. Unfortunately today, many are in disrepair and suggest a time past and many lost opportunities over the last 50 years. The Maine Port Authority and many others are currently working to revitalize that maritime shipping heritage. We recently developed a brownfield in the city of Portland into the International Marine Terminal, a container terminal that in just 5 years has gone from a derelict, abandoned eyesore to a vibrant international logistical multimodal hub connecting Maine to the world. We're very proud to note that we've had annual growth in volume of over 20 to 30% every year. I believe that we can build on that success by connecting northern New England domestically to ports to our south through establishing water service paralleling the congested I-95 highway system on the East Coast. For those of us that live in port cities, moving freight by water is instinct, but it needs to become intuitive for others as well, especially those who set transportation policy. One only needs to sit for a few frustrating hours in Boston or Beltway traffic to appreciate the value of alternative transportation of freight. Moving freight from highway to seaway will improve commerce, decrease air pollution, and reduce fuel consumption, traffic congestion in our largest cities. I'm certainly not the first to suggest that the United States has an infrastructure problem. There's no denying it. In maritime terms, the nation's surface transportation infrastructure is like a vessel taking on water, fast. Fortunately, fixing our transportation network is not a political issue. Democrats and Republicans all agree it's broken. Rather, it is a policy issue. How will we as a nation fix it? How can we help you as Congress to address it? The first step in saving a sinking ship is to plug the leaks. The infrastructure policy debate usually centers around one question: where will the funding come from to rebuild America's highways? But there's more to the transportation equation than highways. As with any fixed asset, there's also a matter of depreciation and use. If we can reduce the cost of the highway system, reduce the rate of depreciation, and reduce the rate of growth of trucks on our highways, then we're starting to plug the leaks. By not making alternative freight transportation system a national priority, especially short sea shipping alternatives, I believe that we are misusing our surface transportation network. We're missing a win-win opportunity to both stop the leaks in the highway infrastructure while fostering a revitalized waterway economy nationally. What if we can establish a well-utilized marine highway as functional as roads and bridges, but without the cost of pavement and steel, without potholes, without traffic jams, a system where at least some long-haul freight bypasses the heavily congested urban areas? That's exactly what the Maritime Administration's Marine Highway is designed to do, and it should be a top priority when fixing the entire system. Since the Eisenhower administration, the United States has focused on a network of expensive fixed transportation assets. The problem is that it's constant patching, lost time, money, road rage, accidents, but we've ignored a great opportunity. In 2010, Secretary Ray LaHood designated the New England Highway System as part of the National Marine Highway System. Part of that project was the designing of an articulated barge that is Jones Act compliant, yet is 40% CapEx and 40% OpEx of a comparable marine vessel. We've also become a member of the North Atlantic Marine Highway Alliance. This effort, funded by the Maritime Administration and managed by New York City Economic Development, includes parties from the Chesapeake to Maine. Mr. Chairman, we recently hosted a meeting that brought freight owners together with port owners and shippers in Maine, and I'd be happy to answer questions on that interesting discussion. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate that, Mr. Nass. Thank you very much. Mr. Weekly, you may proceed.